If you had the chance to grow your creativity, to grow closer to yourself and your own nature, and grow closer to the universe and its resources, would you? The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron explores a spiritual path to higher creativity. And although I am only halfway through, I already feel like a different person. A lot of the information given by this course are values and beliefs that I already have embedded in my head. What this book did is allow me to apply these lessons in real time. And I'm not gonna lie, this book is not for the weak. It's a very hard process, but I know I'm gonna come out of it very thankful that I did it. And I've already gone too far to quit. So let's get into how this process was for me. I honestly started The Artist's Way because I bought the book for my girlfriend and then I ended up doing it myself. I saw Dochi do The Artist's Way about a year ago, a year and some change. Listening to her story about higher creativity and how she tapped into a different type of creativity was really inspiring. I talked to my girlfriend about it, and her and I are both on a journey of creative recovery, honestly. We both went to art school, and what art school does is give you a lot of rules and refine you to be a certain type of artist instead of being the God-given artist that you already are. And through this Artist's Way, I'm learning a lot that I think I already knew, but it's like reaffirming a lot of the things and a lot of the beliefs that I already have about myself and feeding me life, honestly. So in this video, I kind of want to get into what I learned and my experience of the Artist's Way. Everybody's experience, I think, is very different. It's cool that people record their experience and then post it or share it with people, because I'm sure that what I'm going to talk about is going to be different than how Dochi did it or how whoever I saw do it did it. I would like to encourage more people to dive deeper into their creativity and more into how their creativity and how their ideas shine, rather than someone teaching them how to do or how to make it into a skill or monetize it or whatever it is, right? Even this course is teaching me that the more restriction and the more rules and the more structure you have around your life, the less creative you're gonna be. It makes sense into why I didn't even want to do art after school. I went to art school in high school, and after that I went into psychology because I was done. I was like, there's so many rules to something that's supposed to be fun and supposed to be free and childlike, and why are you telling me all these rules? Now I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? That's how it felt. When I talked to artists that went to the same school, they all seem to feel the same. And now that I'm doing this course, I'm finally understanding why. Not understanding why for a while led me to be lost. It led me to stop creating, which is something that I am. I am a creator. I am someone who creates for life. My artist self and myself are not separated. It's just who I am. I want to go over every week and talk about a little bit of what I learned each week or what I experienced each week. It's not necessarily going to be what I learned, but I just want to talk about my experience. It's really cool. My journey has been really cool. I feel reborn, honestly. That's a good word to describe this whole experience. I'm going to put my shades on so that I can lock in. And then let's get cozy. It's a little chilly. It's like 50 degrees, but it's kind of warm because of the sun, which is why I wanted to come to the beach. Before we get into the weeks, I do want to talk about a few terms that I learned and that I had to practice. First one being an artist date. An artist date is what I'm doing exactly right now. Something that you do weekly. You take your artist self on a date. Whether that be an artistic day, a creative date, it doesn't matter. You just take yourself on dates that make you feel happy. And it has to be alone. You have to be on a solo date. You can't have other people on it. Just you and your thoughts and you and your happiness and you and your joy, and you do whatever you want, basically. Most of my dates have been creative, but this is creative to me because, hello, look at the view. Look at the view. I'm very surrounded by just me and myself and I'm having a great time. This is what an artist date is. The whole point of an artist date is to make sure that you have solo time and you have time that is luxurious to you. Make sure that you have time for you and your thoughts and you and your thought processing and you and your existence. The next thing is morning pages. Morning pages is supposed to be an everyday thing. But sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, life be lifing and I don't have time to do it. Honestly, this week I've been really horrible at doing my morning pages, but I digress because we're gonna do better next week and moving forward from today. Morning pages is a journal entry. You do 3 pages every day. It's a stream of consciousness that you write down as soon as you wake up. Once you get into the flow of it, and once you do it consistently, it really changes your life and how you perceive yourself, what you want out of life, what you want to do with your day, what you want to do with your life. It's good. The last term I want to bring up is tasks. Tasks is something that you have to do every week. There's about 10 tasks every chapter, and you have to do it before the end of the week. They're very silly, honestly. They give you a chance to apply what you learned that week. Okay, let's get into it. I learned and kind of reinforced that you cannot create without a sense of safety in your mind and in your body. Your nervous system has to be regulated, and your mind and your thoughts have to be clear. You have to have a sense of control over what you think of and how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your life. For that week in the tasks, let me just say, girl, that week dragged me by the scalp. It was very, very hard for me. Not gonna lie, I did have a very good childhood, but I did not have a healthy childhood. For a creative person, that is detrimental to how they create. That week, I had to learn what a creative enemy is and a champion is. So creative enemy, I had to point out all the enemies that have put thoughts in my head by saying something verbally to me that stuck to me in my head, and I took that as a belief, as a thought that I thought about myself. So going back into my childhood and like realizing who were my enemies in terms of my creativity was not fun. It was not fun. It was not fun realizing these things. It was not fun realizing that a lot of the thoughts that I have about my creativity didn't belong to me. The people that I actually admire and look up to were actually messing me up. Not that they know about this, but damn. Moving on, creative champions are the people that do the exact opposite. They kind of affirm to you good thoughts and good things about yourself and who you are to boost up your creativity and lift you up. Lift me up. Create a sense of safety in who you are at your core and who you are in your art. It was actually very wholesome for me to like go and search for these people, and then you had to write letters and confront them without actually sending the letters, and talk to those enemies and talk to those champions in a way that you would like. What was fun to me is that we had to make a horror story about the person, one of the enemies that we had, and then we had to send a letter to the editor who's gonna like edit the horror story and talk shit about those enemies, and that was so fun. Healed me. We also had to talk about blurts. Blurts are kind of like what you took from those enemies and say to yourself on the daily, and still to this day. If you say any blurts throughout that day, you have to turn them into affirmation, which is a good way to kind of reverse all that negative thinking about yourself. For my artist day that week, I did sticker art. Very, very simple. Sticker art is basically, usually it's a room, but it could be like a garden, it could be like a pool, it could be a store, but it's a room that you fill with stickers, and you start from the back of the room and you move forward so that you can stack the stickers in a way that looks 3D. It's very fun for me because you don't have to think. If you don't know, I do nail art. Whenever I do nail art, I have to think a lot, and sometimes I don't want to think. Sometimes I don't want to think. For that week, we had to dive deep into who we hang out with, what we do, what we spend our time on. Week 2 was very special for me because I have lost a lot of friends this week. I mean, not this week, whoa. I had lost a lot of friends in the year of 2025. Actually, just lost a lot of friends along my journey. A part of me feels a little guilty about that, but this week, it kind of reaffirmed my intuitive download about why I lost those friendships in the first place. Even before I did the artist way, I understood this about myself. If I do not let go of certain situations, people, places, I will not move into the person that I want to become. And I'm sorry, but I came to this earth to live the life that I want, the way that I want to live it. And if certain people are holding me back, or certain places or certain situations are holding me back from becoming that person, I'm going to let that go with love. I'm not attached to a lot of things. I'm not attached to a lot of people. I'm not attached to materialistic things of this world because we're not supposed to be attached to these things. Nothing belongs to us. Nothing is with us forever. I have been understanding that for years now. And so that's what that week was reaffirming. And it was nice to hear somebody else talk about this because it's kind of not really talked about. I don't really talk about these things with many people because not many people practice these things or are interested about these things. So, which is why I'm talking to you. Yeah. So understanding that what you surround yourself with is who you become, I became very limited and very picky with who I choose to be with, whom I surround myself with. And Julia Cameron, which is the author of the Artist's Way, she was basically preaching about paying attention to those things so that you can become aware of it and then understand why you are the way you are and then move forward in a way that's going to be beneficial to who you want to become. When it also comes to like what you spend your time on, which is what she also talks about, she talks about what you should do, what you have to do, and what you want to do. Those are most likely the types of time that you're going to put effort into and what you spend your time doing. She basically asked me how much time I put into what I should do, how much time I put into what I have to do, and how much time I put into what I want to do. Thankfully, I spend a lot of time on doing what I want to do, clearly. And then obviously, if I have to do it and if I need to do it, I'm going to do it. But if I should do it, anytime something turns into something that I should do, that's when I should not, actually. If I should do it, that probably means that doesn't belong to me. That's somebody else, society, louder than my own thoughts and louder than my own wants and needs, that is talking louder than me. And I'm listening to that because I think I should do whatever it is I have to do. I have been like understanding and talking about this to other people so much. Somebody needs to put a clip on my mouth. It's such a good thing to think about because a lot of people out here are sheep and they do what they should do all the time and don't actually enjoy their life. Let's not do that, please. Save yourselves, run. Chapter 2 also talks about crazy makers, and crazy makers are basically people that kind of waste your time because they don't give a F about your time. They ask you to do things last minute. They don't have any boundaries when it comes to you and your time. They don't care about your time. They don't care about what you have to do. They don't care about your obligations. They just need you to be available whenever they need your help. Look out for those. Those are people that you need to stay away from. Very, very, very far away from. That week might have been my favorite artist date. It was an art gallery. And it's not the type of art gallery that you go and there's art on the wall or photographs on the wall. No, it's basically a huge townhouse full of furniture and it is set up like a house. It's a furniture art gallery. It was amazing to go see that. I love homes. I play Sims. I took my camera and I took photos of that gallery. I created this nail set based off of that exact gallery. And it's literally, let me try to show you. Ta-da! Don't pay attention to my eczema. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. So beautiful, so beautiful. So yeah, I ended up taking the pictures from the gallery that I saw and created into something else, something that I can look at forever. This is a press-on set, so you can rewear them all the time. I have like a full book of press-ons that I've made like 2 years ago and they still stand the test of time. It made me realize that there's so much power in taking steps towards your dreams. This is where we're going to talk about synchronicities. As Julia Cameron would say, is something that is, and if it doesn't matter if you believe in God or the universe, it doesn't matter what you believe in. Let's just say, for the sake of this video, let's talk about God and the universe as source, okay? Same thing to me, right? I'm not religious, but I do believe that God is expressed in everything we touch and everything that we see that is natural. So God is in this grain of sand. God is in me. God is in you. God is in the sky, the sun, the sea, the rocks. Whatever you see as nature, I believe that God is manifested in everything that the universe is. A synchronicity shows up as something that is the first step or a step towards what you are manifesting. Basically, glimmers and glimpses of chances that you can take or not for you to step into the dream that you have. An example of that happened to me was I was putting on my favorite song from the movie Wish, and that is an album that me and my girlfriend's little sister, we love that album and we listen to it all the time. We sing, we dance to it. And I noticed that she wasn't singing and she wasn't dancing. She was just watching the music video. And I'm like, hello? Who took your tongue? Because we always sing and dance together. So I was like, who took your tongue? Like, why aren't you singing? Why aren't you dancing? I never want her to be in a place where she's doing the artist way or doing a course for her to gain back her creativity, something that she already has. I don't want her to ever lose that. In my head, I was thinking, we're gonna work on that because I don't ever want her to be like me. Have to take a course for her to gain back her creativity. That's not what the fans want to see. And so precisely a week after that, her mom randomly asked me to do activities on her break. And her break was about a week. And her mom said, I will pay for you guys to go do creative things that whole week. One thing a day, anything creative, go and do that. I did not have a conversation with her mom where I was like, we need to do these things. This just happened. That's exactly an example. So we did. And we had so much fun. My girlfriend's little sister's name is Carla. Even though Carla needed this week, I also needed that week. I feel like my personality, even though the artist way is very beneficial, sometimes it will really drain you. I'm sorry, the view is so beautiful right now. Anyways, on the first day, I took her to the Museum of Natural History. On the second day, we had a music day where we played Just Dance. She had to do some music homework, so we did that together. And then on the third day, we went to a DIY studio, which was so fun. And the last day, we went to a jungle gym with her sister. I'm not gonna lie, I had as much fun as she did. My child self, my artist self, was so happy. Me and her are very alike, so all the things that I took her to, I also wanted to do as much as she wanted to do, but I made sure that all of the things that she was doing, she was really gonna enjoy it. Honestly, that did it. I didn't have to do anything for her to like gain back her creativity. She just needed to do things that are more herself. That's it. Week 4 was my biggest op. I had to do this thing called reading deprivation, and it's exactly what it sounds like. I had to deprive myself of reading, not just reading, it was also TV, social media, it was everything. I had to deprive myself of inhaling new information. I describe it as going back to primal times, where you had to use your senses, you had to use what you know to survive and go through your day. Animals don't really inhale new media, new information, new things. They don't really have to do that. And that's why I call it a primal activity, because I had to basically use my senses and use what I know from being a human to live my life. And I didn't do good, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I did horrible. I watched Traders that week. I was doom scrolling for several hours in guilt, mind you, in guilt, because I was not supposed to. I digress. I learned that the ideas that you have are source given to express itself through you. So if a dolphin has an idea to fool around with something, that is source expressing itself through the dolphin. If a piece of sand wants to just stand there, only be moved by either the sea or people or things that interact with the sand, that's the sand's job. And that's the universe expressing itself through the sand. Same with the water, same with the wind, same with the sun. Everything is an expression of source. So if I have an idea and I execute that idea, that is God or source or the universe expressing itself through me and in what I do. So when you have a bunch of information inhaled all the time, like if you watch the news, if you watch social media, if you listen to other people telling you this and that all the time, through reading, through anything, that stops you from connecting with source and with those ideas, those God-given ideas. Does that make sense? Still applying week 4 to this day because I'm trying to revive from that week, because I did horrible. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do good. And if you do this course, I hope you do better than me. A lot of the time, we kind of doubt what the universe can do for us, what we can do in this life, what we can do. We don't trust that we can get to where we want to be. We don't trust that our dreams can come true. We don't trust ourselves in that sense. And this week, it touched down on believing that you can do it and that you can do better, and understanding that you have an unlimited amount of things that can be given to you, that can be yours. And that every time that you limit yourself, you're questioning God. You're questioning the universe of its possibilities. You're questioning the power of the universe. Week 5 was really sentimental to me, and I will forever remember that week because I was questioning myself in my career. I am doing something, I don't want to talk about it because it's very fresh career. I'm entering a very white male dominated industry, and I started to question myself and my value because I've never seen someone that looks like me, a black queer woman that is going for the field that I'm going in. And I started to question, hey, maybe this is not for me. When I started to have these thoughts, I complained to my therapist that exact day. I said, it's annoying that I had to figure it out. I don't have any mentors around me to show me how to do this. I have to figure it out by myself, and it's very frustrating. I have a very specific lifestyle, so this is not the very first time where I had to figure out how to do something that I haven't seen people around that look like me do the same thing. So I was very defeated and frustrated with this idea. The very next day, I was thinking about my grandfather, and that has nothing to do with what I went through the day before. I just felt drawn towards my grandfather. Maybe he was trying to speak to me on the other side. He passed away before I was even born. I felt drawn to do some research and do a video about him. Precisely the very next day, I found this photograph of my grandfather. Yeah. Here is my grandfather defying the odds in a creative career, which is something that I want for myself. And here he is smiling along people that don't look like him. Let's just say that. And he's defying the odds in a time where it was very hard to defy the odds, and he still did it. So if he can do this, I can definitely do it too. This was basically a call from my grandfather to be like, hey girl, get up, get up. Besides me and my brother, my grandfather is the only person that I know that had a creative career. I found out so much about my grandfather. That man was amazing. He was studying to be a doctor, and he ended up being a diction and dramatic arts professor. He was the very first of this title in the school that he taught in. This picture is basically him going on a dramatic arts tour. He had just landed in Algeria. He's going on a theater tour with all these people, and he's the only black man doing it. You know how isolating that must have been? And he still did it with a smile. He's basically the only person smiling on this picture. I cried so much when I saw this picture. This was my favorite synchronicity to this day. I thank him for his work and his digital footprint and how much he has given me without even trying. Being himself and doing what he loves. He was recognized by the president at that time. He was doing the damn thing. This was in the 1950s. He even talked about the black experience. It was like he was directly speaking to me, and I loved week 5 for that. I loved what I discovered about myself, my lineage and my grandfather. It was such a gift from source. It's impossible to have these types of synchronicities and not believe in God. Forever grateful. My last year has been about recovering a sense of abundance and understanding what true abundance is. It's not necessarily financial. People talk about abundance and they talk about abundance in your finances, but abundance might just be where I am right now. Abundance may just be that you have enough anytime you need something. The universe will send you just enough for you to survive, for you to be happy, for you to sustain yourself, for you to be healthy. And I have always been supported by the universe. No matter what I'm going through, no matter where I'm going, no matter who I'm with, I'm always going to be covered by the universe, and I always have. I've been homeless. I lost my mom. I didn't grow up with my father. I have been in places and times where I've had nothing, but yet I was still healthy, alive, breathing, and I was still safe. So I understand true abundance at its core, and I will always understand and be grateful for the abundance that I have and was given since I was a child. I don't know if my ancestors are doing some type of work up there, but I'm always truly covered and truly adored by the universe. And also, if I say so, then I am. And that's it. Nothing to argue after that. True abundance doesn't lie in how much you have. It's the mindset that you have about yourself and about your life. That's what true abundance is. Yes, I learned about money and how it works. I'm still not making the amount that I want to make, but at least for me to be able to hold the amount of money that I want to make, I need to understand how to hold it. Be able to understand how to not keep it and hold on to it and attach to it, but meaning I want to be able to spend that money without guilt. I want want to be able to have good ideals around money. I want to be able to understand that just because you hold a certain amount of money does not mean that you're evil or that you're going to do evil and make evil things with the money that you have. That's the beliefs that I had before, and I'm glad that I changed it. So this week touches on those types of things, and it makes you understand the beliefs and values that you have around money. And then it gives you a better idea of not money, but it gives you good ideas of what true abundance is. And true abundance, I mean, isn't this true abundance? I even had a dream. Okay, the dream was very silly, but I was put in a place, kind of like the Maze Runner or Divergent, where it's a test. It's very obviously a test, right? The dream started where the people that put us in there, they were already gone. They didn't explain anything. We were already in the situation where we were already on the ground of the game. The grounds of the game was in a jungle. I already knew that we were in a game, but I didn't know what was going on. We basically had to figure out what was going on. There's about 5 or 6 of us. In the midst of the game, I said something like, I wish I had this, and it just appeared in front of me. And so I told everybody else, I was like, hey guys, if you ask something, it'll be right there. And in the game, there was people like selling food and stuff like that, like vendors, and we were all hungry. So I was like, I wish I had a hamburger, and the hamburger appeared right in front of me. Mind you, the people over there, the other players, they were like, no, we feel bad. Like, we don't want to use this power when we already have the money to pay the vendors to get food. Like, the vendors are right there. They probably need money. In my head, I was like, what's not clicking, Steven? These people that you're buying food from, they're not even real. This is a game. If I just found out that we have an abundance in this game, why aren't you using it? I was so confused why they're not using it. They were like saying like, no, like you have the money, might as well like use it to buy food. And I'm like, no, we just found out what the game was about. Why are we using our money? Anyways, so I woke up, I was mad. I was like, no, this is so stupid. I looked up what this dream meant, and I found out that it just means that I understand abundance. So that was a great omen, a great understanding that my subconscious is understanding these topics. This week's tasks are actually really fun. I'm here at the beach. I'm on my artist date. I'm also gonna do some of my tasks. One of my tasks is to pick up some rocks. There's a bunch of rocks right here, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I also have to pick up some leaves or some flowers. I don't know if there are around here, but I'm gonna look around and see if I can find that. If not, I'll go to a park another day. This is what I mean by these tasks are very silly. I don't know, picking up some really pretty rocks, isn't that abundant? Isn't that abundant? That's what we used to do when we were kids. That's what we understood abundance as, and that's because it is. We have everything that we need on this earth. Yeah. Money's not real anyways. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Thank you for listening to me yap. Subscribe if you feel called to. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my day. Hopefully this inspired someone out there, someone in there to start the artist way. Because even if you're not an artist, this teaches you so much about your life and who you're meant to be and who you want to be. It brings you closer to yourself. So no matter if you're an artist or not, Julia Cameron, she talked about how lawyers have done this. Teachers, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be an artist to start this. Anyways, I'm gonna go pick up some rocks. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you. Love you.